Be ready. 5 seconds. Sir, I think in the last couple of minutes, the most amusing part of this discussion is that we are virtually discussing everything but the budget. I am glad at least Dada hinted at the amount of the budget that is going to be allocated for Jammu and Kashmir. But since I said everything else has been discussed but the budget, I think, sensing the sense of the House, some of those points also need to be responded. But my moot question, before I respond to some of the points, is this. My friend Manish ji is not here. We have known each other for a very long time. We are very close to each other. He too belongs to a border area. He, along with his family, has faced the threat of terrorism for a very long time. I thought he would start by complimenting us that on the lines of the Wagha border, we have also started something at the Suchetgarh border, where we have similar exchange of salute in the evening. I do not have to add to what the Honorable Home Minister has said, and he has said that at the appropriate time the statehood would be restored. Can I take the permission of just making a small point? The small point is that it will not take 70 years. As the Honorable Home Minister has said, at the appropriate time it will be restored. On a serious note, there is a vested interest in Jammu and Kashmir, also which survives, thrives, and flourishes in an atmosphere of mayhem, insurgency, terrorism, and uncertainty, and they flourish in an atmosphere of vacuum. In fact, I had said this earlier, about 3 years back, that I hope someday somebody would suggest that there should be a minimal threshold voting percentage for any candidate to qualify to become a member of the Lok Sabha. Otherwise, we will have to bear with members getting elected with 7 or 8% voter turnout. So, to keep the pot boiling, every day a new story is manufactured. The latest is only a few hours ago. It also relates to the subject of Kashmiri Pandits. It was the biggest, I think the only instance in the history of the world where a huge population of a community became homeless in their own homeland, refugees in their own country, and the biggest exodus possibly that has happened after that of the 1947 partition, when there was exchange of Hindus and Muslims and the riots followed. I vividly remember that in early 90s, when the exodus had just taken place, the same Congress party had said that Jagmohan has generated this exodus because he wants Kashmiri Pandits to go and get free plots in Jammu and Delhi. At that time also I had said this: if only Nehru had allowed his Home Minister to handle Jammu and Kashmir as he was handling the rest of the princely states, I think we would not have arrived at a pass that we have. In the spirit of comradeship and a good cabinet's collective responsibility, he allowed his own Prime Minister to intrude into his domain. It was naturally his domain as Home Minister. Modi ji has introduced a new political culture in this land. You have been seeking votes to come here. Who else not? All of us are here with votes, but we are not using votes as a vote bank. We are using it where it is required and to reach out, not for appeasement. But what we are talking here in the context of Kashmir is absolute appeasement. What happened in 1987? This entire exodus was triggered by a rigged election. Squadron leader Khanna and others got killed in their Air Force uniform, and the killers were still at large. The action has started against them only after the governor's rule came into effect. Mr. Chairman, sir, there were selective killings of Kashmiri Pandits. Kill one, threaten 1,000. That was the formula being followed. There are many examples like Tika Lal Taplu, then another director from Doordarshan. Just because he happened to be a Kashmiri Pandit, they had to leave their home and hearth and run away. But apart from that, this has been triggered with this film called The Kashmir Files, which is released recently. The Bharatiya Janata Party led government under Prime Minister Modi ji is on the right course. We have redeemed Kashmir. We have done what Congress should have done. We have done what Congress promised to have done. It was the Congress stalwarts who in the Constituent Assembly also suggested and agreed to include the temporary clause phrase. They could not do it because over the years vested interests developed and they thought this was going to serve to their advantage.